You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
It's good to be back with you, Davide.
It's good to have you back, Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't know where I could go.
I don't think my name can do what your name just did, so
no.
Better to not try at all. You know, Dave.
Yes. Tell me. Speak to me.
Did you like my voice messages on Thursday?
They were outstanding.
Yeah,
they were a little concerning, touch creepy, but it was good to have you part of the show, as you should be.
Yeah.
We were all Friday. We're back today. I thought we were going to have such great things to talk about. We do with one of the teams.
Yeah.
Not with the other.
We do. We have great things to talk about in regard to Big Blue, who, if you would have just listened to me after week 2, you would have known this was coming.
You knew it was going to happen. I did not believe this would happen. It is happening. They're 3-2. The offensive line looks better. Eli's not turning it over. Beckham looks tremendous. Yeah, I'm excited.
They have weapons on offense.
It
they have
looks
a line
good.
Protecting. Eli looks as good as he has in a long time.
They don't stop the run very well, but you know what? Baby steps. They're heading in the right direction. We can't do our listeners in this station justice if we don't start with the Jets, though.
I know.
If you know me, I would spend the next hour and 2 minutes talking about the Giants and what a tremendous win it was. We can't do it, right?
No, and look, we will talk about the Giants, and it is a much rosier picture right now, and you have an exciting game coming up against the Eagles that's going to feel like one of those tremendous early season Sunday night football games. And Big Blue all of a sudden has us all very excited. But the other team in town, Dave,
who you also told me would be fine.
I was so wrong about them. I could not have been more wrong about them, to the point that not only is this the worst I have felt about the Jets in the Rex Ryan era, this is the worst I have felt about the Jets organization since pre-Bill Parcells. That's how awful I feel about the place that they are in right now. The lack of trust I have in the GM, who did about as obviously an awful job as I've ever seen a GM do in 1 year.
Yeah.
About the head coach, who could not get his team to care, focus, or even show up on time yesterday. About the quarterback, who at this point I don't know if it's going to be anything in this league. And about the owner, who seems content to let this season just idly pass him by.
It started last week when Woody Johnson, who is a man with a lot of money and part of the Johnson & Johnson fortune, made a bizarre comment. You weren't here for it. We actually never discussed it.
But I read it.
He said, I was taught at a young age to never spend all the money that I have, which when I saw that, Ryan, struck me as such a bizarre thing to say. I've never heard of anything like that, but whatever. You take that, you put it to the back burner for the moment. Then the Jets, we didn't find this out till after the game. Geno Smith misses a team meeting. Not only did Geno miss the team meeting, but 4 or 5 other guys also missed the team meeting. Nobody has a watch? I mean, not one of the 5 or 6 guys that were together could say, guys, time zone change, it's approaching the time that we have. Like, not one guy was capable of doing that. And then you watch what they were on the field, Ryan, and it was we've seen them on the butt fumble night against the Patriots. We saw them lose 49-9 last year to the Bengals. We saw the Ravens obliterate them a couple of years back. This was I think, and I'd have to go back over the last 20 or 30 years, I think in my life this was the worst from beginning to end performance I've ever seen from the Jets.
The whole game was a butt fumble, and the whole season is becoming a butt fumble for the New York Jets. When you don't show up to a meeting on time because you got confused and, it was an honest mistake. You know what that is? Pathetic. It shows a lack of focus. I'm traveling all the time, okay? All the time I do our show from different cities.
How many meetings have you missed?
None. You know how many times I've shown up at a studio at a different time when I was 1 to 3? You know how many times I showed up on the West Coast at 1 o'clock instead of 10 a.m.? 0. You know why? Because I wake up and my priority is the show. And the priority should have been the meeting, the job. That's why you're there.
Not the movie, if it even was a movie. And I don't even care what the actual reason was. How 5 or 6 guys miss a meeting is beyond me. And you know what the thing is? And Damien Woody's going to join us in a couple minutes, and we'll certainly ask him this question. The thing for me is, how does this happen? Do you know what it's like on an NFL team? There are people in place to make. There's itineraries given out. There's people in place to make sure you are
militaristic with their strict
where
times.
You're supposed to be at all times. It's mind-boggling. Usually you can find, as bad as it gets with any team, you can find some kind of silver lining. What would that be now?
Nothing. because your owner just basically told you he doesn't care. And I have always defended Woody Johnson, always, because I look at the things he puts money into that he doesn't have to, like the practice facility, which is about as nice as anybody's
beautiful
in the
there.
league.
It is.
It is fantastic, and it's an easy sell to players and free agents. But what he said last week showed me a guy who was okay with what was going on. And I think back, and I don't want to always do the Jet-Giant comparison.
I hate that comparison.
But
no, go ahead. But I just
because I don't like to fall into that same way. I don't like to always say, well, Yankees do it this way. What about the Mets? I don't like to always do that.
Agreed.
But a couple years ago, we had an owner in John Mara who sat there and said 8-8 felt more like 2-14. You remember when he said that?
Yes, I do.
And I thought every fan who listened to that should have gotten up and thrown a huge fist pump to the sky in celebration about their owner having the same expectations that the fan base does.
You know I don't like the Yankees. Last week, Hal Steinbrenner came out and said, we apologize, we're embarrassed, we're sorry, won't happen again, our plans are in place. The Jets, and we're not even getting into what they were on the field, but the Jets didn't lose a game 31-0 yesterday. Like, it feels so much more than that. The quarterback is not there for the meeting. The owner makes a statement like, oh, you know what, $20 million, that's what I don't want to spend all my money. The coach, and I guess it's commendable, falling on the sword by saying it's all on me. It's not all on you, it's everybody. Right now, the Giants were 0-6 last year. And we knew that they were not coming back. The Jets are 1-4 right now, Ryan. They're done.
Season's over.
It's over.
Season's over. I know they're a broadcast partner. There is nothing good I can say about your organization right now. Sorry, that's your fault, not ours. Nothing good I can say about where you are right now. And I have been so silver lining on everything green and white over the last few years. This is as bad as I felt about the Jets in a very long time. And your owner didn't help it at all with what he said last week. He went totally on Woody in the offseason. In the offseason, he talked about wanting to win now. Look at the Seahawks, how quick they turned it around. That's something we're aiming for. And then all of a sudden, he's talking about patience at 1-3 as if he knows the season's over, because he is. Because he's right. It is. Here's Rex Ryan.
I apologize to our fans, those that are left. You know, this is on one person, and that's it. It's certainly not on the quarterback, on one individual that way, or anybody else. It's on me. Clearly got outcoached, but it was a complete, whipping, and it was me that was getting my ass kicked. And I think that's where it is. It's on one man. It's on me.
I like that he did that.
Yeah,
but it's not true.
It does nothing for me.
I will say this: yesterday was on him a lot. Because,
you really think so?
Well, I think it's on everybody, but I also think if you're just talking about the pure horror of what went on the field yesterday, the head coach didn't get them. Clearly they weren't focused. The quarterback and other players missed the meetings, and they went on the field and got totally pummeled. They didn't cross midfield till the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I do put that on the head coach. But the head coach does not have what he should have to operate.
Oh, listen, I don't absolve Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan is to blame. John Idzik is to blame. Geno Smith is to blame. This great run defense who allows Brandon Oliver to go for almost 200 yards, all purpose. Everyone, D. Milner is to blame. Michael Vick is to blame. This is, look, I get it. Rex, it's his team, and he wants to try to take all the heat and take it away from the other guys. I understand that. And Rex was bad. But this is not all on Rex Ryan. This is an epidemic with this club right now.
Did you hear what Demario Davis was saying about it as well? That he hasn't seen guys putting in that hunger in the film room.
They don't practice as if they're a Super Bowl caliber team.
Look, honestly, I don't think we're hyperbolizing. I really don't.
Is that a word? Yeah. Truthful. Hyperbolizing?
Yeah.
I don't. Jeff, go to the Google.
It's the verbal form of hyperbole.
Hyperbolizing?
Yeah, it's taking something and, being grandiose about the way you're using your terminology.
It's the Joe Panic of words.
No.
Like, that's the name drop.
It's not.
Hyperbolizing?
Yeah, I don't think we're hyperbolizing. I think 80% of our audience had no problem with what I just said.
No, I believe a lot of it.
I think your 20% is confused.
My 20% is home scratching their heads at work, right? Hyperbolizing. That can't be a word.
No, but Dave, we are not being dramatic with the way we are terming the Jets' current situation. It actually is that bad. It actually is. And I'm telling you, I could not have been more wrong about the state of this franchise going into this year. And the more I think about it, and I'll give you credit, you saw it, and a lot of people did with the corners and the wide receiver situation. When you think about the money not spent, and if I hear one more time about, they need to save money for Muhammad Wilkerson, I'm sorry, Muhammad Wilkerson's going to cost all the money you have left over? Because you have them right now, and your team's trash.
You had Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie in your building, and you let him leave without a contract. Vontae Davis was a free agent. Emmanuel Sanders. The Jets did not do enough. And, here's the thing. People say, oh, you're a Giants fan, Dave, so you don't get it, and you're negative. I'm not negative, Jets. I call it like I see it. How could I be anything but this today, Ron? You know how many teams have been shut out in the NFL this season?
How many?
One. The Jets. That's it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and the entire – because it's hard. Do you know how hard it is to get shut out in this league?
Oh, because at some point somebody scores a garbage touchdown.
It's really hard to not put up a point in a game in this league. Do you know what – and I said this on my updates this morning on Coward. Do you know what the biggest play from scrimmage for the Jets was yesterday? How far? How long? Take a guess. Biggest play.
18 yards.
13 yards.
Oh.
Do you know the last time 13 yards or under was the biggest play in an NFL game?
2012.
2008.
Are you serious?
Yes, Ryan.
Oh, my gosh.
Teams don't put up. I mean, they were laid in the biggest egg you could imagine. They were 1 of 12 on third downs. They were outgained 3-1 by the Chargers. They got 2.8 yards per play. San Diego's good. I think San Diego could be a playoff caliber team. They're not the Cowboys in 91. They're not the 84 Niners. They're not the 85 Bears. I mean, the Jets went into the game yesterday and got beaten from the second they flipped the coin till the second that game ended.
It was as bad a performance as I can remember them having, and there is no hope in sight. There is no team on the schedule that you should be looking at and saying, well, that's a win. Because right now everybody's looking at the Jets and saying, well, that's a win. And they should be. And look, somebody points out on Twitter, and they're right. I don't know if they were at a movie or where they were missing the meeting, but Teddy Siggs says, why has no one mentioned that in order to go to the movies, you have to pick a movie time, and the movies are on West Coast time? It's true.
Could you, and I didn't go crazy this morning, but could you imagine Brady, Peyton, Eli, Romo, any of these guys coming in and missing a meeting?
How about when your job's on the line, too? How about when you know you're on the brink of being benched and you don't show up on time? Are you kidding me? I do. There is no excuse for that. None. Unless something happens with your family or health-wise.
That's different.
Totally different. This all was an honest mistake. You know what? It makes me sick that the Jets are covering for him. No. Don't cover for anybody on that. That is totally and completely unacceptable. Everything about this season at this moment is unacceptable. And any Jets fans who thinks that we are being too hard on them, I'm sorry. You need to be harder on your team, and you need to demand a higher standard. Devontae in Akron, Ohio, where everybody's happier now that LeBron's back. Devontae.
Bring us the love, Devontae.
You are on the Maserati of Morris County hotline.
How you doing, guys?
What's up, Devontae?
I've been a Michael Vick fan since his Virginia Tech days. Born in Virginia myself. I would like to see him start, and the reason why is because we've seen Geno Smith for a year and 25% of this year. He's had good games, he's had bad games, but there's not a lot of consistency there. Michael Vick is injury prone, he is mistake prone, but veteran over a guy who misses a practice, misses a meeting. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's not acceptable. And he's fighting for his job, Devontae. By the way, perfect time to remind you that Who's Hot, Who's Not, brought to you by your New York area Ream Top Contractors. Visit myreamteam.com to find your Ream Team Top Contractor. Ream, the new degree of comfort. The Jets are not hot.
Yeah, thank you.
And the Giants are hot. Chris in Manhattan. Chris, you're on the Maserati of Morris County hotline.
How you guys doing today?
What's up, Chris?
It's a terrible day for me. I can't stand John Idzik. And this is just a gift that keeps on giving. You have to understand, if you're going to pay Demetri Patterson $3.1 million, he's not even showing up. You mean you couldn't put $4 million on top of that and get Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie? You couldn't put $3.4 million on top of that contract and get Austin Werner? Wait, now, Eric Death is no longer here, right? He may be playing next week. We're going to get a chance to see what we could have had in Emmanuel Sanders. Now, I'm tired of hearing Geno Vick. I don't want to hear Rex Ryan speak. I don't want to hear Woody Johnson speak. The only person that I want to hear right now is the person, every time he walks into a room, the Beastie Boys sabotage should come on, and that's John Idzik. I'm sick of this dude. He needs to be out of here.
You know what?
This is ridiculous.
Chris, this is the problem, and this is why I say you feel so awful about their current situation. Who do you have faith in that's going to turn it the right way?
Nobody.
None.
You know, I don't think you have faith in the owner. I don't think you have faith in the GM. I don't think you have faith in the coach. But what you do have faith in is your knowledge of the English language. Hyperbolizing is, in fact, a word.
I knew it was.
Well, I'm giving you credit. I'm admitting that I was wrong, and I'm commending you.
You're a good guy.
I'm doffing my cap to you.
You know what? You're very good about that, by the way. You are not afraid to say I was wrong, and you're not afraid to give credit. It's one of the things I love about you as a person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
You'll always talk about the most dysfunctional thing in the family first. Really. And that's why we talk about the Jets way more than we talk about the Giants today.
You know what I also think it is, though? I think it's the gravity or the swing or the impact of what took place on Sunday, right? Like, what the Giants did was awesome and I think significant because that was one of those swing games that can go either way, and if you're going to have a winning season, you need to win some of them.
And you see what's coming up. And it's at Philly, and it's at Dallas, and then it's Indy, and it's at Seattle, San Francisco. This next run, that game yesterday for the Giants was huge.
But if the Giants had won in Seattle, say, yesterday, now that's one of those, whoa, that's an eye-opening game.
Yes.
It's not so much about negative, positive. It's more about, well, what was more shocking? What was more surprising?
Yes.
And yesterday what happened with the Jets was more eye-opening than what happened with the Giants, even though what the Giants did was a very, very good, significant win.
And you know, we talk about the Jets and Jalen Saunders, 4th-round pick. By the way, he's the highest pick from this draft to be cut by his team.
It's pathetic.
It is pathetic. But you look at the Giants, you look at their draft, you look at guys that have now started to produce. And Andre Williams had a really good game when Rashad Jennings went out. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for Odell Beckham Jr., and he came out and he played really well yesterday. And I'll tell you this. When the Giants were 0-6 last year, as infuriating, as embarrassing, and whatever adjectives you want to use, it never got to this.
No.
It never did.
It didn't.
You never thought Coughlin's lost the team. You never said, well, people said Jerry Reed. It was never Coughlin. It was never, my God, it's all broken.
I never had conviction in it all being broken. Right now, Dave, I feel so certain that this thing is a hot, flaming ball of mess. And I so don't want to believe that. I like the Jets. I root hard for them when I watch their games, which a lot of my Giant fan friends get on me about. You maybe a little bit get on me about it.
I don't understand why you would root for them if you're a Giants fan. I don't care. Whatever. They win, that's fine. They lose, I don't care. It doesn't have any impact on me at all.
I root hard for them. And I'm looking at them and saying, nothing. Nothing I can feel good about right now.
How can they not be 1-6?
They're going to be.
Right.
They are going to be 1-6. And what's even more troublesome is when they end up with the 4th pick in the draft, do you feel confident in who they're going to select with the people who are at the helm right now?
No, I don't.
Nope, nor should you. James in Queens. James, you're on the Maserati of Morris County hotline.
This is a PSA to all my fellow Jets fans out here. Run for your life. Be very afraid because there is no plan. You would have seen it. I've seen it when they got Tebow and held a press conference for a backup quarterback. And, I gave up on them until they fired Tannenbaum, and I'm thinking maybe they turn around. But you fast forward to now, and you see they're just winging it. You bring Vic in, even though Geno's not the problem. Rex isn't the problem. I wouldn't even fire him. Bring him back as a coordinator, and get another coach. He's.
But you can't do that. You can't have a head coach and then demote him to a coordinator. That'll never fly here.
I got you there. I just think he's an asset, and I don't think he's all of the problem. But it's Woody. It's a Dolan syndrome. Dolan was smart enough to get Phil, and step out of the way. I don't know if Woody's doing that.
Let's see. James, I hope that's true. Let's see if he stays out of the way. I would like to believe he's going to. I can't say with conviction he's definitely going to. Just like at this moment, See, my problem with the Jets owner is not he's hands-on, he doesn't
I don't
step
think
out
he
of
is
the way.
very hands-on.
No, my problem is he seemed way too complacent with what's going on with this team when I heard him speak last week.
And what did he say? He looks at Geno Smith as going to be what did he? I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said either an elite quarterback, big-time quarterback. Like,
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, what have we seen?
But he's
to
trying
make
to
us
support
think
his
that?
guy. I don't mind that. What I mind is all the money he's not spending, and then talking about how, he's not spending it because of lessons from his father, and then talking about how they have to be patient before the season. He was talking about win now.
And he said that Dexter McDougal was a catastrophic loss. I mean, he might have been okay, but you're not losing these games because he tore his ACL.
And he was hurt last year. That's part of the equation. You drafted a corner in the third round who was hurt last year. By the way, he was such a crucial part. You just cut your fourth-round pick.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Somebody tweeted at me saying, you have to remember in D.C. the Metro closes at midnight. That's why all the fans left. Look, let me tell you something. That ballpark was empty at 10:15. That game went till midnight. Secondly, Bill, come on. If your team is in an epic extra inning game like that, exactly.
By the way, what kind of a metropolis is Washington, D.C.? They close at midnight?
Well,
very political.
The stadium
Give me a break.
It's not politically correct to stay out past midnight.
Yeah, exactly. Try and find food there at 10 p.m. It's a disaster. But I like the city otherwise, but just not at night.
Back now.
Yeah.
Look at Ruocco, bashing the nation's capital.
My sister lived there, and I loved going there for weekends.
What did Joe Panic say? Does he like DC?
Yeah, he likes it. No, but at night, that's a problem. You can't find food, and it's because it's not a real city in the way that New York is in that sense.
Nope.
And the stadium's outside the city, hence the Metro issues. But hold on, here's my problem. Can the city of D.C. make an exception when they have a playoff game like that? Or, I'm sorry, you find another way home. Cabs, Uber, whatever. You don't leave. You do not leave in that situation. Not if you're a real fan. There's just for me, there's nothing acceptable about that. And the entire ballpark clears out. I'm sorry.
It's a bad look.
If I'm a Nationals player and I'm in that game and I'm looking up at the stands, that sucks the life right out of me.
More angry at Matt Williams, though, I'll tell you that. Why he took Zimmerman out with 2 outs in the ninth is beyond me.
Yeah, it was because Zimmerman got scared of Joe P. after he did you see it? He almost went yard on that 2-0
Oh,
panic.
I understand.
And then he walked.
Have you talked to Joe this weekend?
Yeah.
You've talked to him this weekend?
Yes, I have.
Joe
Panic? Yeah. It's my
There he
buddy.
goes. There he goes.
Here we go.
Got those games.
It doesn't take him long.
I talked to Joe.
What does he say?
Said he's having fun.
He's loving it?
Yeah.
He's very good, by the way.
Yeah, he is very good. He became he was getting a lot of national attention after game one, which was cool.
You know the way, Bill, you'll remember this. Carol Burnett, every show, she used to tweak her earlobe
this time saying hello to mom.
to say I love you to her mom. You should ask Joe to do something like that for you. Like when he goes into the batter's box to put RR in the dirt or something like that.
I think he probably other people in his life he would do that for first, but I mean he'll text me after the game.
How many Ruoccos does he have in his life?
Come on.
That's true.
You should tell him. You know what? You should demand it.
Yeah,
You should. You should demand it.
He thought it was cool he's from Hopewell Junction. I'm from Fishkill, 845. He thought it was cool that on Friday night I was calling Syracuse Louisville as he was having a good game against the Nats on TV, and I was watching in the booth, and he was he thought that was cool. And
by the way, can I bring something up?
I would love it if you did.
Bob Raceman went to town on this over the weekend. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you and I are good, no?
You're one of my good friends here. I love.
Okay.
I can say I have never enjoyed working with a partner as much as I've enjoyed working with you.
And
I've never
appreciate
enjoyed
that.
anyone more.
I appreciate
I've
that.
enjoyed some things as much, maybe. Never anyone more.
So if Michael Kay is going to take unsolicited shots at me, and you're on that show, I think it's your right and duty to stand up for me.
I said I love working with you, and you're a great guy.
But I didn't hear what he said, but apparently he went after me, and it became uncomfortable. And here's the thing with Michael. Michael, would you not say, is the face of the station?
Yeah.
Right. So whenever anyone works at this company, they should be greeted by a message from Michael, welcoming them aboard, not making it uncomfortable and difficult for people to feel.
You've been at this company for 5 years.
But so what?
But you still need some kind of message
I
from
don't
him?
need anything, but I would appreciate pot shots not being taken at me.
Yeah, I think his point was just that, he doesn't feel one way or another about you.
Well, then that's a problem.
But you're floating through this world, and, for him, he has other things going on.
We've hosted shows together. Yeah, thanks, Michael. We've hosted shows together. I've worked on his show in his stead many times.
What was your interpretation of your relationship prior to him gashing you on the air?
I thought we were friendly.
Yeah, I thought you were too. I was a little surprised by his reaction.
I don't know whether it was Michael attempting to, and I use attempting in quotes to be funny, or what exactly was happening here, but I thought it was extremely unnecessary, and I was disappointed in him because I think better of him for that. And why is Michael getting angry? He's the voice of the most popular team in all the sports.
No, I don't think he was angry. I think he was ambivalent towards you.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But I'll try and engender some more passion about you.
I don't need you to defend me and say he's a great guy. I need you to defend me and say, Michael, you're better than that. Don't stoop to that level.
No. I'm going to – but Michael likes doing that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say – Michael, you really need to get to know Dave better. He's one of the best people you ever work with. He's incredible talent, and he makes your job so much easier when you work with him. That's what I'm going to tell him.
Here's my question for you.
Okay.
Are you a co-host on Ruocco and Rothenberg, or are you first a participant on the Michael K. Show?
No, I am first and foremost a co-host on Ruocco and Rothenberg.
I just want to see where your allegiance
lies. That's where my name's on the show.
It's true. Yeah. Nobody's name's allowed on that show. It's only Michael K.
That's right. I'm surrounded by Michael K. banners in here. Michael's my guy.
I understand you like him.
Who would I take a bullet for first, you or Michael? It'd be Michael.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
To the curb again.
But
right, really?
That's only because Michael has been, I've known him since I'm 19 years old.
Now, how about if this show explodes? Like we think it certainly can.
If the
and
audience
we become,
is wise.
top dog in New York City and things really go to that next level, then would you take the bullet for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you'd be even more useful to me than Michael.
That's what it's about. You know who I'd be?
What?
I'd be Joe Panic.
That's right, baby.
Yes.
That's who you'd be. Chris in New York. Chris, you know what? Jeff, let me just make sure we're allowed. Can we give Chris a bonus? What the heck? Can we give him that opportunity? All right. He says it's okay. Chris, go ahead. I know you want to get out of what the heck.
Yeah, I'm talking about Geno Smith. Now, this whole season seems like a lie for the Jets. They expect us to believe that Geno Smith missed the meeting because he didn't know the time in the West Coast to go see a movie. Now, don't you have to know what time the movie is?
Exactly, Chris. And the movie is on West Coast time. It is ridiculous. Somebody pointed this out on Twitter earlier, too. It's pathetic. And everything about yesterday was unacceptable. Look, on the Giants side of things, they look really good, trending up, getting weapons back, an offensive line that's protecting. Defense did not look good first half, but they got it together second half, had Matt Ryan under siege. I feel great about where they're at. Now you have divisional games that are show-me games. Awesome. For the Jets, here's the problem, Dave. What do you look at and say, well, you know what? At least I know this person's going to get us on track.
Nothing. There's nothing. They don't have one thing that you look at and say to yourself or to anybody, I feel good about this. You can't feel good about the coach. You can't feel good about the GM. You can't feel good about quarterback A. You can't feel good about quarterback B. I guess I like Chris Ivory. The offensive line, which was supposedly one of the strengths of this team yesterday, Ryan, was horrendous. The defense, and can we stop with this is a big-time defense? Big-time defenses do not allow little running backs to gash you for 100-plus yards.
Who never played in this league.
We didn't know who he was
Brandon Oliver,
yesterday.
I wish I would have stashed him on my Ryan Matthews fantasy team. Because, boy, if he's going to go up against the big, bad Jets defensive front and get 200 yards, well, then certainly he's going to have no problem with the rest of the NFL. It was an embarrassment. And here's the problem. And this is what you should actually feel concerned about. And I feel bad for Jets fans because they deserve better than this. Your owner last week did the right thing of taking to the microphone. That was appropriate. But then he said things that made you feel no better about the future of this franchise. That's concerning to me. That's something I'm worried about.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
All right, a little Monday action. Ruocco and Rothenberg with you on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. But we have a guest in studio with us right now, Dave, who, let's just say he looks transformed and terrific. Damien Woody, who currently on The Biggest Loser. You look amazing, my friend.
I feel amazing. I feel great, man. It's amazing when you lose a human being off your body. It's amazing. It's amazing how much better you feel. But I feel great, and I'm happy to be back with you guys, man, and talking some sports. This is good, man.
It's great to have. I wish it was under better circumstances when it comes to your former team, the New York Jets.
Ooh,
Damien, Dave and I have been painting the picture. It feels about as bad as it's felt in a very long time with this organization. Do you think that's accurate?
Man, I was disgusted watching that game yesterday. Truly was disgusted. I don't know where that I want to start. There's so many different places that we could go when we talk about the New York Jets right now, but to watch that game, to first of all, to get shut out 31-0. This is professional football, where all the rules are slanted towards the offense, and you go on the road and get shut out 31-0 to the San Diego Chargers. It's not like we're talking about the 85 Bears right now. Granted, the San Diego Chargers and Phillip Rivers, they're playing really good football, but 31-0?
Pathetic.
It is just absolutely pathetic. This was actually a game that I actually thought the Jets had a chance to win when you consider the matchups. You look at the San Diego Chargers, they're a one-dimensional team. They can't coming into the game, they couldn't run the ball. The Jets, that's what they're known for, stopping the run. Rex Ryan likes to get after the quarterback. So the Jets can actually run the ball. So you're thinking, okay, they can control time of possession. They can stop the run game, make San Diego Chargers offense one-dimensional, get after Phillip Rivers. That's going to be the recipe for the Jets to win on the road. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. They let some undrafted kid, or I don't even know who this running back was, just gash him. Just straight gash him in the running game. I'm like, where is this vaunted Jets defense at? This defense that's been touted, that the guys been saying that this is going to be the best defense in the league. They haven't been able to stop anyone.
No one.
It's just I'm really as a former player and now as a fan, I'm really disappointed in that performance yesterday.
It's gotten bad, and it's gotten bad quickly. I feel like I should reintroduce myself to the new and improved Damien Woody. But in all seriousness here, and I know there's so much on the field that we need to get into, but we find out overnight that Geno missed the meeting, showed up when it was over. You played in this league for a long time. Your starting quarterback misses a meeting, and team's reaction and your reaction is what? Do you sweep it under the rug, or is this a big deal?
Well, first of all, I don't know all the circumstances behind the whole situation. But here's what I'm going to say. There's no excuse. It's inexcusable for any player to miss a meeting, let alone your quarterback, your starting quarterback. Your starting quarterback should be the first guy in the door. Well, your starting quarterback should be ushering guys into the meeting room. How can you possibly miss a meeting? I don't care about the time the time zone. I don't care about that. Look, in the day of in the era of smartphones, your phone changes regardless of what time zone you're in. So don't give me that baloney excuse about the different time zone. I got time screwed up. I don't want to hear it.
It's so unacceptable. And him and some of his teammates all missed it because they say they got confused with the time. Here's the other thing. Damien, don't your coaches make it clear as soon as you get off the plane when you have to be where? Don't they shouldn't that be, if you're locked in, isn't that priority number one in your head? I have to be here at this time. Like, if my wedding is in San Diego and I have to be at the altar at 1 p.m., guess what? I'm not showing up at 4. I'm showing up at 1.
Ryan, here's the deal. I'm going to just give you a little logistics of how it happens. Before we leave to go on any road trip, we usually have I know they played in San Diego, so they probably left on Friday because it's playing on the West Coast. So Friday morning, you get your itinerary just laid out in front of you. Your itinerary before you even take off to go to San Diego. So you know when all your meetings are going to happen. There's no excuse. There's no excuse that you can possibly give me as to why you missed a minute of a game of this magnitude.
Should they all have been benched?
Me personally, yes, because I think they should have been benched because what good is finding guys that have money? That's okay. You find a guy, I'm like, okay, I got fined or whatever. You'll take out my check, so what? So be it. But when you take playing time, when you set an example for not only the team, but for everyone to see, everyone in the national audience to see. You don't think that's that get right there? It won't happen again if you put an example out there like that. I can tell you that much.
Would you be angry as a teammate? If you're an offensive lineman for Geno Smith and he misses the meeting and you sit there and you're on time and you're ready to go and your quarterback misses the meeting, you personally, would you pull him aside? Would you be angry? Well, I mean, what would your reaction be?
I would be disgusted. Again, you're the starting quarterback. When you think of a starting quarterback, you think you're the CEO of a company. You're entrusted with the franchise. You're the guy that's in charge. You're the leader. You're supposed to be leading us. And here we are, you're late. You're late to meetings. I mean, what kind of example is that? It looks bad on everyone. Mm-hmm. It makes the whole organization looks dysfunctional. Just not good. Not good at all.
Damien, right now, do you hold the GM or the head coach more accountable for what we've seen thus far?
I think they're both. They both should be held accountable. Number one, when you look at the Jets, obviously personnel is an issue. That's when you talk about personnel, that's front office. The GM is definitely accountable for that. They don't have the talent to be considered a factor, in the AFC. And then when you watch the game, it just looks like the team isn't well coached. They weren't prepared. And when a team isn't prepared, that's a direct reflection on the head coach. And you heard Rex Ryan after the game saying, first and foremost, it's my fault. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're supposed to do as the head coach. You're supposed to stand up and take ownership for how your team performs. But, man, there's just no reason. It's unacceptable, especially coming off a bad game against the Detroit Lions. When you play a bad game like the Jets did against the Lions, man, those losses stew with you the whole week. And as a player, you can't wait. You can't wait to get back out there on the field because that's your only opportunity to get that bad taste out of your mouth. And to go out there and put a performance that's even worse than what you put out there against the Detroit Lions, what does that say about your ball club?
It's pathetic. Damien, this is awesome having you back and in studio with us and looking terrific, and great day to have Damien's insight.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy that played for the Jets, and you were so successful.
Man, I was hoping to come back on radio on a more joyous occasion, with a victory or something, man, so we could really talk something really good.
You want to talk Giants with us?
Yeah. Giants?
Yeah.
Man, look, Giants they're trending upward. I know it's early. It's early. I don't want to put the Giants in the Super Bowl.
They look pretty good, though.
They're getting better.
Yep.
I like that Odell Beckham kid. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a factor.
He's right.
Going to be a factor. As long as that offensive line holds up for the Giants, they're getting better. That could be they could be scary. They could be really scary on offense.
Damien, thank you for hanging.
Man, it's been my pleasure, man. It feels good to be back in the mix.
It's good to have you back in the mix. Yeah. Damien Woody hanging with Ruocco and Rothenberg.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. It's time for What the Heck?
What the heck? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Where we reflect on all the moments from the past weekend that made you say,
what the heck are you talking about?
This whole show has been a big what the heck to the New York Jets. But I have to target a fan base. Because, you see, I was tired from traveling on Saturday. And I had a dog in the fight because my buddy plays second base for the San Francisco Giants.
I'm familiar with Joe Panic, yes. Yeah, I think we all are now.
But I still wanted to go to bed early. I was doing prep. There was a couple other things I wanted to do. But I stayed watching. All 18 innings of a riveting baseball game between the Giants and the Washington Nationals. You know who did not? The fans of the Washington Nationals. I'm sorry. Is postseason baseball a bore to you? Have you experienced so much of it that you're oversaturated with the drama? No. You shouldn't be, because this is only your second postseason series in the history of your franchise. You wanted the team. You get mad at the Orioles fans for getting on you. I'm sorry. That crowd all leaving the Nationals ballpark was absolutely pathetic, inexcusable, disgusting, and a disgrace. And to all those National fans who left, I say, what the heck?
Look at you. That was very good. He was so impassioned, and you, obviously on radio you can't tell, that the veins in your neck were popping out. So good for you.
There was nothing feigned about that either. No. I was truly appalled by that crowd.
All right, Joe Panic. Let's look at Buffalo and Detroit. I'm going to give you a double. I don't know if I'm allowed, but that's what I'm going to do. Detroit is a new team. It's Jim Caldwell. They don't make the same mistakes that they used to anymore. They're up 14-3. Kyle Orton and the Buffalo Bills, they missed 3 field goals. And Detroit, who's turned a page, and now they are back to where we thought they would be, at a very good football team, finds a way to lose at home to the Buffalo Bills 17-14. And for that, Ryan, I say what the heck? But I have another, and I will give it to you very quickly. Jim Schwartz always seemed like that kind of mousy guy to me. Always seemed like a guy that I wouldn't want on my side. But he's Buffalo, and he's assistant coach on the Buffalo Bills under Doug Marrone right now. And they go back to Detroit, where he worked for years, and he had some issues. We remember the handshake with Jim Harbaugh. Granted, they win the game. We'll give them credit, Buffalo, for winning the game. They carried Jim Schwartz off the field on their shoulders. Act like you've been there before. And for that, embarrassingly, I say, what the heck?
The heck?
Yeah, that was absolutely embarrassing. Joel in the car. All right, Joel, go ahead. Your chance, baby. Don't let us down, because if you're really good, you just might win tickets to the Rangers home opener against the Leafs on October 12th at 7 p.m.
I'm good. Here it comes. What the heck? The movie didn't have a start time? How can you go to a movie that doesn't have a start time? You had to know what time it was. What the heck?
You know what? That is pathetic. If that is really where they were, seeing a movie, and that's why.
Do you buy into that?
Oh, my gosh. It is so absolutely ridiculous if that is actually what transpired.
Give me one more. You have to have another good one. I know you.
I do.
You're full of good knowledge.
Yeah, I do have I have a couple on my mind. But I think I'm going to rest this one in the positive column. Mm-hmm. I want to say that we right now are witnessing greatness on a level that I don't think we're giving enough attention to.
You're not going to bring Derek Jeter up here, are you?
No. I wanted to, but I won't.
He's talking about me.
No, well.
In some ways, he just might be, Bill.
I do not think we are paying enough homage to one of, if not, the greatest quarterbacks that has ever played in the National Football.
You're going to go Peyton Manning.
Yes. I say a hearty, what the heck, to Peyton Manning, who yesterday had a career high in passing yards, who threw for 479 yards against a very good Arizona defense and 4 touchdowns, who is doing all of this as he ages into his late 30s and early 40s, as he continues to be years removed now from a neck surgery that so many people projected would end his career. He is better than ever. And for that I say, with a bow, what the heck, Peyton Manning, you football god. That I have to say to him. Do you have another, or you want to get a caller in here? Because you did the 2 back-to-back. I didn't know if you wanted to do a third.
That's a great question.
Let's go to Oliver, and then if you want to. All right?
Yeah.
Oliver, you're up next. Go ahead, my friend.
11 picks in this draft, and we couldn't make any moves. Why did we draft 11 players? What the heck?
You know what, Oliver? Keep Oliver on the line, Jeff. Oliver, you're going to win the Rangers home opener tickets, because you know why he's so on the money about that what the heck? John Idzik had 12 picks, 12 drafted players. You know how many are on the roster right now?
6?
5.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine that? And it was so preposterous. I give John Winthrop credit. He was saying this, very big Jeff fan who works at our station, saying this forever. You consolidate, because you're never going to keep that many guys on the roster. Package a couple. Trade up. Get a player you like more. No, not what they did. Dave.
It's bad, Ryan.
And what do we say to them?
We say, what the heck?
What the heck?
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.